And I honestly believe that experience is the best teacher. Because when you get stuck and you don't know why you're stuck, a whole lot of times it's because you've not dealt with what's in the inside.
It's really meaningful to start from the perspective of healing and the perspective of getting well yourself before you try and lead anybody. Who are you?
I am the CEO of Joe's Academy of Music.
What did you write?
I wrote a workbook for leaders.
Hello and welcome to 3 Questions, the series where I speak to people who have written something that you really need to read. We are here with my good friend Jolander doing our very first in-person session of 3 Questions. I'm excited to speak with her today because I've gotten to know her pretty well over the past few years, and she is doing some amazing work in several fields, and she's written a book that you really need to not only read but put into practice in your life. Jolander, thank you so much for being here with me today. I got the privilege to drive down to the music school that you own and operate, and it is an incredible space. Anybody who's looking for music lessons in the Queens area, please come check out Jolander and her school. But let's go ahead and get started. I want to ask you our first question. Who are you?
Well, firstly, thank you so much, Pierce, for having me sit with you today. It's truly an honor and a delight to have conversations. So I am the CEO of Joe's Academy of Music, but I also wear, like you mentioned, several hats. And the one that I'm really living into more than I've been in the last 5 years is that of being the president and CEO of my own leadership development company, in that it's called Jolander Headley Leadership Development LLC. I am an executive director with the John Maxwell leadership team, and I have the great opportunity of going around the world to train and develop leaders in different countries, different organizations, so various pillars of society, and it just gives me joy to do what I continue to do and love doing so well.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite things each few weeks when Jolander and I speak is to hear about the recent travels and events of her life, and she lives a very exciting life and teaches some really important leadership principles to a lot of people. And you can see in the fruits of what she does and who she trains that she really lives what she speaks about, trains people on, and writes about. Which that leads me to my second question. What did you write?
Well, thank you for asking. I wrote a workbook for leaders, and it is called Help, a practical guide to leadership growth from the inside out. And I have a copy of it right here. And this book is about how do we get well first. Mm-hmm. So we talk about the healing aspects of our lives, being healed from the inside out. And then we move into a level of self-awareness where we are equipped and where we are empowered to do what we're called to do. Mm-hmm. And then the L represents the leadership growth and development that we need. I provide you with the tools, the resources to do so in this workbook. And then the P, how do you live out now your purpose and your plan, taking that action to implement all that you have in your hands, and now that you're in a better place as a person from the inside out to live that purpose and plan out.
Yeah. And as someone who has been involved in the process of getting this book ready and has been invested in the content of this book, I can tell you that just from working on the book itself, I gained so much amazing perspective on leadership and on each of these 4 pillars of the HELP framework and program. It's really meaningful to start from the perspective of healing and the perspective of getting well yourself before you try and lead anybody, mm-hmm. and continuing that lifelong journey of healing and growth and wellness, mm-hmm. as you lead others. So it's a really powerful framework that is taught in this book. And not only that, but there are so many practical elements as far as assessments that you can take for yourself, and the work that you can do on learning these different aspects of leadership that Jolander teaches on in this book. It's really an incredible book.
So. Thank you.
Thank you for
Yes.
thank you for sharing it with the world. We've already answered a bit of this third question between what the two of us have said, but anything else you want to add on the third question? Why should people read the Help workbook?
First of all, it was written from an experiential place in my life, and I honestly believe that experience is the best teacher. So I have gone through my journey in the book and taught lessons learned. And from those lessons, I think it's very important that everyone in the world have an opportunity to share in the experiences that I've had, because I think in most of our cases, there are spaces in our lives that needs to be addressed before we can actually live out that purpose that we're really called to live out. Because when you get stuck and you don't know why you're stuck, a whole lot of times it's because you've not dealt with what's in the inside. And so this is why we start there first. And this level of self-awareness that needs to be developed and acknowledged and exposed in all of us. Sometimes there are so many, well, all the time actually, there are blind spots we're not aware of. And so, like you mentioned, the assessments really lead us through that area in their lives that need to be identified, and not only identified but dealt with, acknowledged, and addressed. And so it's anyone who reads this book and work through the exercises that's in it, I just guarantee that your life will be transformed. That's the whole idea. We don't want to necessarily be the same place 10 years from now. We want to have grown. And I think the information in this book, the practical tutorial in this book, and the experiences that I've shared will definitely help someone get from here to there.
Absolutely. And I'll add that this book is versatile. No matter which sphere of life or work that you lead in, these principles are useful, whether that is in business, whether that is in ministry, whether that is in the community, whichever sphere of life you lead in, you can get something meaningful and valuable out of this text. A fourth question that I always tag on for people who have worked with me and my team in the past or presently is, how did Van Dunk Edits help you as you pulled this book together?
Wow. That's a great question. And to answer that question, I have to start with a thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I mean that from the depths of my soul. My dissertation journey is where I started understanding more about your work, and I was just blown away and so pleased with the product, which has been published. And I was really delighted to start this journey of the workbook for leaders with you, because when I shared my ideas, it was so amazing the way they came to life when you wrote what I said and what I even thought you wrote. Now that's amazing. I think you're a mind reader. So the product itself just was very, very rewarding, gratifying in so many ways, and the journey, because you didn't just come along as an editor, as a writer. You came along as a friend, someone who really was willing to understand what was going on in my life, on my journey, so that when it's written, it just came to life. So many times I read my story in here and cried. And literally cried, because it was such an accurate reflection of what I thought, what I said, and how you articulated it in this book. So thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for everything that you've said, and it has been a real gift to work with you and to come to know you as a friend, and to get to be a part of your story, get to be a part of helping you to put your wisdom on the page, and to learn more about your work and to become a part of that in the form of writing has been an absolute gift. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone who is interested in purchasing the help workbook, it is available in the links that I will add to this video. And be on the lookout for more from Jolander Headley, because there's always more coming. Check her out at her website, which is also going to be listed in the description to this video. Thank you for watching.